Today we're in the kitchen with our OSU Extension Food Specialist, Dr. Barbara Brown, and we're going to learn how to prepare sweet potatoes today. And if you recall, a few weeks back we harvested some sweet potatoes from our studio gardens, and I don't think we'll really win any prizes with these. If you remember, they're pretty small because of our heavy clay soil that we have. What are we going to make today, Dr. Brown?
We're going to make a sweet potato and apple casserole. Now the reason I chose something that's got some fruits and some sugar added to it is because these have not been cured. You pulled them and brought them to me and we had to work with them right away. As things cure, the more sugar will develop, so later on they'd be real good for cutting into sticks, peeling, cutting into sticks and eating them like carrot sticks or shredding into coleslaw or on a fresh vegetable salad. This time we're just going to basically make some layers in the casserole. We've peeled and sliced the sweet potatoes in about half-inch chunks, and then we also have some apple to help give us some sweetness. And I left the peel on the apple if you want to just put a layer of apples on top of that. It'll add a little bit of color. Now in addition to that, we're going to add some honey. I've got 2 tablespoons of honey and about 1/3 cup of orange juice. And I'll let you stir those together while I put on some raisins. We've got about 1/4 cup of raisins in here. And we'll just kind of make layers. And then some more sweet potatoes. Some more apples. Now, sweet potatoes are another excellent nutrition source, high in fiber, very high in vitamin A. You get your day's supply from 1 serving, basically, of vitamin A, and that's one of the nutrients that particularly kids have trouble with. So if you can get it a little bit sweeter so that kids like it, you've got a real good thing going for you.
As they cure, do they increase in vitamins or?
The vitamin content doesn't change as they cure. As they ripen and mature, it would change. Okay, now that just pours over the top of there.
Okay.
Again, we're going to add a little bit of margarine, about 1 tablespoon of margarine dotted on the top, just to help give it a little bit of richness. And once again, this is something that you could leave out if you're watching calories. It's not going to add that many calories because you can divide this between about 6 people, so it's not going to be too much even if you use it. Sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon on the top. It's one of the traditional flavors that we use with this kind of vegetable. And then this is going to go in about a 350-degree oven for 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how big you cut the sweet potatoes and so on. We do have one ready ahead of time. You do need to cover it when you put it in the oven so that the tops don't dry out a lot. One of the nice things about this dish is that it freezes very well. In fact, this is a half of the recipe that I prepared for you here. The other half is sitting in a freezer, and it will come out as good as it was when you started.
Okay, which stage do you freeze it?
After it's cooked. Right here, you just kind of put the leftovers into the freezer after you finish your meal and go from there.
Just in a freezer type container?
Well, you could use the actual casserole that you started with. One of the interesting things with casseroles in that respect is that you can freeze it in this. It then turns into a solid block, and particularly if you've got it lined with aluminum foil before you bake it, you can then just lift the whole thing out, wrap it down in the foil and put it in more freezer paper or whatever to keep it moisture vapor resistant. And then when you're ready to cook it, just take it out of the freezer and put it right back in that casserole. And in between, you've been able to use that casserole for other things.
How long can we freeze the? I mean, is it
probably about a month once they're cooked, but basically all sweet potato recipes freeze really nicely.
Now, I hear some home gardeners that will actually cut them up into chunks and freeze the potatoes themselves. Is that a good thing to do, or?
Well, potatoes discolor so quickly, and the freezer is not going to keep the air away from them, so that over a period of time, if they're not cooked or treated in some way with lemon juice or ascorbic acid, they will tend to darken even in the freezer.
Okay. Well, good. As you can see, we've got another good recipe today. Again, if you'd like that recipe, check with your county extension office or send us a stamped self-addressed envelope here at Oklahoma Gardening. And we've enjoyed it again. Thanks for coming over, Steve. And we look forward to working with you again.
Appreciate it.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. You can also find more recent videos on our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.